Wonderful start to your week so far. We're going live on our platforms today, giving you guys value. And all month we've been talking about the brain and what does the brain mean to us? What does that mean to what we do and how we operate? So,
Dad,
yes.
I found Spider-Man on our TV.
Okay, good. So I've got the little ones with me right now. So you got a little bit of live action. So the brain is something that we use, we operate, but the brain is not the mind. And that's one of the biggest things that in the concepts you really need to grab is that the brain is something that we use, we utilize, and as we think, we utilize the brain, but the brain itself has no life and no power. We're the ones that think through it. So whenever we look at conditions and circumstances and whatever it is that we're doing in life and wherever we're at, we're applying our awareness to that brain. We're applying that awareness to our body, and we're moving into action. And what you want is better results. What we want is better results. What I want is better results. But we can only give what we have. And that's the truth. We can only give out more of what we are. And so it's about developing yourself and your abilities to give more so that you can have more. If you want to have more in life, you've got to give more to life. If you're not getting the results you want, then you've got to change the way you think. You've got to get a mental upgrade. You've got to learn more technique. You've got to become more aware of your abilities. You've got to learn and adapt to a new way of thinking, learning new material, adapting to the material that you're learning, apply the material you're learning. And this is how you grow. Here at the Institute of the Mind, we're teaching people how to set goals and achieve goals, how to live the life they truly desire, one step at a time, one day at a time. And you do that through practice. You do that through awareness. And the better you get at doing this, the better you will be.
Everyone, and welcome.
I can personally say from my point of view, I've come a long way. And I can also say there's so much more that I want, so much more that I want to become, so much more that I want to grow. And because of the willingness to adapt to the changes that I must commit to and what I must do, I've got to be willing to learn more than what I know. And that willingness to learn more than what I know, I will change. I will change myself. It's a product of willingness and willing to adapt to the changes that I must commit to myself, from myself, to myself, so that I can advance in life. Now, in these classes that we're teaching daily, it's changing people's lives. How's it changing people's life? Well, you're becoming more aware of your infinite potential, for one, and you're also learning material that's probably foreign to your ears. And when you learn material that's foreign to your ears, you change. If you're willing to take what you're hearing and apply it. And I want to touch just a little bit on that. There's a difference between knowing and doing. There's a difference between having the memory of it and then expressing that memory. And as you begin to learn, or you take a book and you begin to read a book, if you're not willing to do what the book says, if you just simply turn the pages and you don't really adapt and do what the book is telling you, the book stays in your head for memory. And you're beyond school once you're beyond school, you're no longer going to be graded on what you know. You're going to be graded on what you do. So subconscious mind has different layers, you could say, different filing boxes to apply what it knows. And if you have words that really have no meaning and no description, no understanding to your cognition, you're not going to apply it because you don't know about it. You don't know what it means. You don't know how to express it. You don't know how to do those things. So there's no real meaning. There's no life in your words. as you develop yourself with words and then intention and meaning behind words, then you can begin to apply what the words mean. So there's so much psychology and understanding to words and the base practice of a word. And the only way you're going to learn that is by doing the work. I discovered in my vocabulary that there were many words that I only had it for the memory of it. Maybe to put it together to form a sentence, but it was never to do it because there was no cells of recognition. I didn't know what the word really meant. I didn't know how to express the meaning of that word. It was not in my dialogue. You may say, well, how can it not be in his dialogue? Well, according to the place, the environment you were raised in, you know those words. You understand those words according to how those people taught you how to use those words and how to direct your energy with those words. But when it goes beyond that, you're going to have to train your mind and body to adapt to a new way of expressing itself, to new destinations. And when you can really begin to do that and do it on purpose, your whole life's going to change. I'm going to play this video, and it's talking about thinking in reverse. I've got a video here with Bob, really great mentor of mine, good mentor of mine. He's passed away, but he's expressing how you don't think in reverse. There's so many of us that are thinking in reverse, and we're doing opposite of what we want. And it's really about directing this power within. I'm going to play this video, and we'll come back to the lesson.
People live. Let's take a look on page 172. Forgive. That slight misdeed of yesterday, why should it mar today? The thing he said, the thing you did, have long since passed away. For yesterday was but a trial. Today you will succeed. And from mistakes of yesterday will come some noble deed. Forgive yourself for thoughtlessness. Do not condemn the past, for it is gone with its mistakes. Their memory cannot last. Forgive the failures and misdeed. From such experience rise. Why should you let your head be bowed? Lift your heart and eyes. Do you know, I always remember Leland, Val Vanderwall, we always called him Val, saying, let us not look back in anger or forward in fear, but around us in awareness. You know, that is so good. It's so strong. Now, I'm going to go through a few slides. Your heart and eyes. Do you know, I always remember Leland, Val Vanderwall, we always called him Val, saying, let us not look back in anger or forward in fear, but around us in awareness. You know, that is so good. It's so strong. Now, I'm going to go through a few slides here, because I think this is where this lesson really belongs. Let's take a look at this first one. Throw it up full screen and look at it. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. Now, this guy really knew what he was talking about. Albert Einstein was a brilliant human being. And when you think of this, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy, it's physics. You see, everything has its own frequency. Everything. Now, I always say we understand that when it comes to our phone. But when it comes to the amount of money we want, the results we want with our work, the results we want in our social life, we don't seem to understand it. We wish, but our head is in the past. Now, we let other people's opinions really, really drive us in the wrong direction. I love the results we want with our work, the results we want in our social life. We don't seem to understand it. We wish, but our head is in the past. Now, we let other people's opinions really, really drive us in the wrong direction. I love this quote by James R. Cook. Do just once what others say you can't do, and you will never pay attention to their limitations again. See, most people are permitting other people's paradigms to control their life. Now, that doesn't make any sense at all, but that's what's going on. If you're really going to make headway, you might read this every morning for the next 90 days. Put it somewhere where you would read it every day for 90 days. Do just once what others say you can't do. You'll never pay attention to their limitations again. You see, the second you say you're going to do something, their paradigm jumps in and they say, oh, that's crazy. You can't do that. Well, the truth is you can do anything. If you can think it, you can do it. Because as you think it, you automatically, created what it is you're going after. While you're thinking it, you got the picture in your mind. Now let's look at this for a moment. Your spiritual DNA is perfect. It requires no modification or improvement. Now think of that. I'm talking about you. Your spiritual DNA is perfect. In other words, there's perfection within you. Perfection. It requires no modification or improvement. There's nothing has to be changed. It's there. Okay? Now this DNA is connected, all-knowing. All the knowledge there ever was or ever will be is 100% evenly present in all places at the same time. All the power there ever was. You'll always have the power to do what you want to do, as long as you loosen up and let yourself go and do it. Okay? Now look at this. Doesn't matter where you are, the knowledge and the power is there with you. And your spiritual DNA is perfect. Now there's perfection within us. Why would we hold ourselves back? Why wouldn't we go after what we really want to go after? Now, I have found a way to guarantee that I'm going to keep moving in the right direction all the time. I am forever working at cracking this code and breaking the old paradigm. Now, there's a book. I've had it sitting on my desk for a long time. I'm going to ask you to order this book. Hold on. It's The Creative Process in the Individual. The creative process in the individual. Can you zero right in on that? It's not coming out very good, is it? The creative, write it down. The creative process in the individual. The creative process in the individual. And it's by Thomas Troward. Thomas, Thomas, Troward. Troward, Thomas Troward, that creative process in the individual. Now, I've been reading this for a long, long time. I explain this every now and then, but it's one of the most valuable ideas I've learned. See, what we're talking about here is changing your paradigm. To change your paradigm, you have to get something that's essentially the opposite to what's controlling you, and you replace what's controlling you with something that's essentially the opposite. You know, can't do it, can do it, you know. Now look at, I'll tell you what I'm reading here. And this, first of all, this is a book holder. You see how it holds the book? It holds the book open. There's two springs on either side. I've had many book holders. This is the best one I've ever had. All right? It's a small one. It's only $24.95. It's a deal. Look, you put this book in the holder. It holds it open. I've got this sitting on my desk. It's been sitting here for a long time. Every time I come in, I read this. Let me tell you what I'm reading. The lesson to be learned from the practical aviation of the present day is that of the triumph of principle over precedent, of the working out of an idea to its logical conclusions, in spite of the accumulated testimony of all past experience to the contrary. And with such a notable example before us, can we say that it is futile to inquire whether by the same method we may not unlock still more important secrets and gain some knowledge of the unseen causes which are at the back of the external and visible conditions? And then by bringing these unseen causes into a better order, make practical working realities of possibilities which at present seem but fantastic dreams. Now, the idea here is it can't be done. It cannot be done. That's the idea. What can't be done? Anything heavier than air cannot stay in the air. It's going to be drawn towards the center of the earth. And so whenever anybody suggested to fly through the air like a bird, they were considered insane because it couldn't happen. Look at, if I take this little mouse and I drop it, it's going to fall into my hand. The one you can see fall there. See, it falls into my hand. Anything heavier than air is attracted towards the center of the earth. Now, the American government spent millions, literally millions, probably billions, trying to get a plane in the air. They never did it. It was two young bicycle mechanics. Just bicycle, not aeronautical engineers, knew nothing about flying, but they got past this idea that it couldn't be done. Now, what did it say here? The lesson to be learnt from the practical aviation of the present day is that of triumph of principle over precedent, of the working out of an idea to its logical conclusions in spite of all the accumulated testimony of past experience to the contrary. You see?
All right. So when we start to look at what we're teaching here is that everything is mindset. He's at the end, he was talking about the Wright brothers coming to the conclusion that they were able to acquire flight. And these two individuals were going beyond what was done at the present time. They were doing things that were not normal, and they had a goal. They had a vision. And they were consistently working at that vision, that goal. And here we're flying this word called a plane in the shape of a bird. Why? Because they were looking at birds flying And from that idea, they were using that idea to progress the idea that they're working with. And when we start to understand how your mind works, your mind is like GPS. When you go to a place, you begin to activate your awareness and it begins to take you in that direction. And that's how everything's been created. I'm going to rewind this again, and I'm going to go in a couple parts, and then I'm going to break them off, and we're going to go into them a little bit more.
Anger, forward, and fear. But around us in awareness. You know, that is so good. It's so strong. Now, I'm going to go through a few slides here, because I think this is where this lesson really belongs. Let's take a look at this first one. Throw it up full screen and look at it. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. Now, this guy really knew what he was talking about. Albert Einstein was a brilliant human being. And when you think of this, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy, it's physics. You see?
Okay, here we go back to thinking in a certain way, applying that thinking, moving yourself in the direction of your desires. And you're going to say, well, yeah, all this is normal. Then why are you at where you're at? Why are you at where you're at today? Why are you living the way you're living? If this is normal, if this is things that you know, then why are you still stuck? And there's not one person in this planet that does not get stuck. This is the beautiful truth about it, because everybody gets to the limit of what they know, and everybody's going to get to the limit of what they do. And the average individual stays there. What's made, if you are different, and it's rare you find somebody that's different, what's made them different from the others, from the masses? Ability to give yourself a command and do it. Ability to set a goal and do it. The only thing that separates the originators from the common, their willingness to go beyond what they know. Willingness to pursue the thing that's never been pursued. Willingness to create the things that have never been created before. How does that work? That works with discipline, courage, imagination. The only way to go beyond where you've ever been is to do it. How many people were not flying before the Wright brothers? Because the Wright brothers were the ones that thought of it, from what we know. First man flight, for what we know, or what was able or given to the masses. Let it be so. The masses did not fly till after the Wright brothers had brought it to the world to see. In this time. And it wasn't that it couldn't be done. There's not anyone that we know that had decided to do it and done it. The telephone that we're using today, live streaming. You guys are live streaming. There's people that have the ability to see this globally, and there's people seeing it in different countries right now. How is that possible? Willingness to go beyond what they know. But the average individual is not an originator. and an executor of that original thought. The average individual thinks they think, and they act on those thoughts, but they're not original. That's why they keep going to the same place. If you find that you're stuck and you find that you keep going to the same place, it's not that you can't go further, it's that you keep using the same ideas. Everybody's going to get stuck. Everybody is going to get to the point where they don't know what to do. But you clearly have to understand, it's not that you cannot do more. You have been willing to learn more. We're the only ones that can shorten or stunt our own growth to decide if we've gone as far as we're going to go. And clearly understand, when you stop learning on purpose, stop learning to move in a direction of a desire, you've gone as far as you can go. And this is normal. And it shouldn't be normal. But this is taught all around you since birth. And even the people, the teachers that are teaching you, are doing it themselves. We were never supposed to stop growing and learning and unlearning. And here you see society and everybody not only teaching you, showing you, and that it's okay to repeat your awareness every day for the rest of your life. That's not normal. And really, when you begin to think about it, you would think that's insane. Why would you repeat 20, 30, 40, 60 years expecting different results? Why would you repeat the same job, business, position for 40, 60 years? You're not going to go anywhere else. What you're doing is repeating the lessons you learned up to that date. And then you're repeating those same lessons the rest of your life. Nothing's going to change. That means from that point on, the rest of your life is going to be more or less the same, because you were willing to learn up to that point. And the day that you're not willing to learn anymore, they stay in the same job, they stay in the same position, they do the same amount of work, they earn the same, more or less the same amount of money. And that's going to transpire for the rest of their life now. So that means for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years, you're done. Nobody understood the psychology behind belief and behavior. They didn't understand the psychology or the understanding of consciousness and the way it works. And it's wild that here we'll watch people repeat the lessons after that the rest of their life, never to accomplish more. Each and every one of us was meant to keep accomplishing, to grow, to keep developing. We weren't taught that. How many times do people get a degree and they're done? They get a bachelor's degree, they're done. Rest of their life, more or less the same. They get a master's degree, and they're done. Rest of their life, more or less the same. They get a doctorate's degree, and they stay there, and the rest of their life is more or less the same. I'm not saying that it's beneath getting a doctorate, but if that's as far as you go, and you don't continue to learn, you're not going to continue to evolve. That's right. I've talked to people with bachelors, I've talked to people with masters, I've talked to people with doctorates, and I've worked with those different people to help them keep accelerating and growing, because they didn't understand the psychology behind their mind and the way it works. I've seen people stuck in all parts, in all walks of life, people with no education that are stuck. I've seen people with no education surpass people with doctorates, master's degrees. How is that possible? You would say, how is that possible? Look it up. You're going to find out, you really start to look it up and look around, you're going to find that the people that have surpassed the people that are educated, well educated, and have doctorates, did not surpass them because of anything other than a vision and a goal was further than the other individual's vision and goal. I was looking for the truth, many years looking for the truth, and I wanted to figure out what was success, what meant success. I wanted to know what was consciousness, what made us all different. I was looking for the truth, and I found the truth in every eye. I found the truth in every eye. A man is what he thinks all day. When I found that truth, that every individual had their own truth, and that's why they stayed where they're at, or they went as far as they went, or they accomplished as much as they accomplished. The people that were accomplishing more than the people with doctors, you would think people with doctors and masters and some of the wealthiest. I've talked to people that went to school in Harvard, and they're stuck. It doesn't matter where you're at. It doesn't matter how much education you have. What matters is, what is your goal say you have? What does the goal say that you have? Goals are not to get there to grow. When I started to find that the people that were really highly successful, gone beyond the status quo, they were working with goals. And they were setting goals that were beyond the degree. They were setting goals beyond the master's degree. They were setting goals beyond the doctorate's degree. They're setting goals to hire attorneys, to hire the degrees, to hire the doctorate degrees. When I started to find the truth, I started to find out the people that were really winning big were the people that were setting the goals to hire the people with the degrees. They had set goals to build companies for other people. They had set goals to hire the top people in their industry. So what gave them the opportunity to do that? You may say, well, they had money. No, they didn't. I met people with no money. And the fact is, the majority of the people that are the very wealthiest started from the bottom, had nothing. They had a burning desire. That's what they had. That burning desire is everything. They may not have had much money. They may not have had much understanding at the time. Did they develop themselves along the way? Oh, yeah. They had a burning desire to go beyond what they could hear, see, taste, touch, and smell. Their goal was so big that they were going to be hiring and needing the capacity of the people that have gone to school and specialized in those areas for so many years. So guess what happens? That's the goal. And that's where you work towards. Guess what you end up doing? The bigger the goal, the more specialized knowledge you have to have. It doesn't mean you have to have it, but it does mean it's your responsibility to put it together. So here we begin to understand the rhyme and rhythm between consciousness, awareness, and the way we live. Everything's in degree of how you think. Everything is in degree on what you do. And everything that is based on the future representation of matter as you see it will be based on your thoughts. How well you group ideas to definite ends. How well you group those ideas to a definite end and then act on it. This is what distinguishes how you will live. It's about how well you're willing to adapt to the changes that you must make to see the thing that you want to see transpire. I remember going to these seminars around the world, meeting with individuals that were not normal. They were not normal. I remember talking with Bob. He was not normal. And here, the once in a long time, I felt at home. And I felt normal amongst these people. All this time trying to fit in to society, I was never supposed to fit in. I've researched Einstein, I've researched some of the brightest people. They were not normal. They were never meant to be normal. They think completely different. They did not want to stay living the same way, and they're always looking for a higher purpose, always being guided by a higher purpose, always looking to evolve, create, build, distinguish, live. And this is the way we create. Yes. I do. And this is how we go beyond. We do it by setting goals, working towards a goal, willing, the drive, the strength, the courage, the persistence to put it all together and act on it. Now, there's many things you're going to go through. There's many things I've gone through. But you've got to have that inner desire. Don't just do things to do them. Make sure you're working on a goal that's worthy of you. Make sure that that goal is something you truly want. That burning desire, that willingness will take you beyond to accomplish and do the things that you're not going to want to do. That is normal. So many people get this wrong. You will face some of the biggest obstacles in your life when you're doing the things that you do not know. But your desire has to be bigger than that. Your desire has to be bigger than yourself. Your desire has to be bigger than your fears, your doubts, your worries. Your desire has to be bigger than your excuses. But that is what's going to take you beyond to achieve the life that you desire and that you want. And as you start to develop this innate ability within yourself, you start to change your life. And that's what we're teaching. And as you begin to learn this and do these things, yes.
Those fries that I got from Chick-fil-A.
Yes. As you begin to do this, what you're doing is you're changing yourself. Take a look at what we're doing and get emotionally involved with change your life. We have programs Monday through Friday where we're teaching at 6 a.m. Right now in the holidays, I'm at the house right now giving our lesson. But regardless, we're doing it. We do these classes every morning, 6 a.m. And we're helping you to live the life that you desire. We have programs every Saturday. And on Saturdays, we're taking you to this Thinking Results program, a Mastery Lifestyle program. And we, during the week, if you're not able to make it on the weekends, we have a class, Creators Lifestyle. And we're teaching the Thinking Results program in there as well. So you guys have ample opportunity to work yourself into a program that is going to change your life. We're coming to the end of the year. We're coming to a seminar that will be on the end of this week, I believe, or next week. We'll have to look. It should be on the website. And we're coming to the end of the year. What gift will you give yourself that's going to change yourself for next year? You're coming to the end of the year, you're going to be putting on, everybody puts on this masquerade of this next year, and they don't do it normally. And if they do it, if they lasted 1 year, they'll be done by the next normally. When are you going to be willing to really do something for yourself that's going to change yourself long term? That's what we do. Take a look at what we're doing. Send me a message. Send us a message. And I'll be ready for the people that are willing to bet on themselves. And I'll see you on the other side of this transmission. Everybody have a wonderful day.